Just give me an IQ. Too easy to see the truth. I never want this to burn out. I never want us to burn down. You just give me an IQ. Too easy to see the truth. I never want this to burn out. I never want us to burn down.
All right, we are live. I'll let you do the
Oh,
intro.
yeah, so today we have La Espada versus On the Spot, which is two powerhouse teams, both 2-0. So regardless, someone's going to walk away with a defeat today.
Yeah, super exciting. Considering, some people were asking whether we thought that it was possible a team could go undefeated this season, and I think at this point, since these are the only two undefeated teams, it's not possible. Which is kind of cool, I guess. It makes things more tight knit than we were expecting it to.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. It's two powerhouse teams, both I would like to say well-rounded, whether it's top, mid, jungle, bot. We are going to be starting off the draft here. La Espada opting for blue side with a Samira ban coming through.
Yep. We do see we know On the Spot is subbing in one player. It is Bioster. I believe into the 80 carry position.
Yep. Karthus and a Vel'Koz ban coming through. They're banning out Kip's Karthus and then throwing a ban at Nikolai, who's going to be making his debut in mid lane, followed by an Ornn ban for Foja.
Yeah,
I think
the Ornn
go
ban
ahead.
to me is kind of interesting because, like I said in my previous draft analysis, like a lot of people are getting hard shafted by this Ornn first pick, and I kind of would have rather like to see it banned from them in the second phase.
Yeah, absolutely. With the Senna ban coming through, geared towards Bioster. We don't see JT rip around too much Senna, so I imagine they're throwing a
Actually,
ban at him.
we did see him on Senna last week, and
Was he really?
yeah, so I think both these players are comfortable playing the Senna, and
Okay.
you know.
Taking away a flex pick.
Okay, On the Spot leaves open the Tristana flex. I'm sure that Carnage in the mid lane and Complex can both play it, and they did ban away the Morgana. That would have been their jungle most likely. They probably would have picked the Morgana up and and waited on the Tristana for later.
Yeah, so it should be interesting to see these two bans or picks coming through. Jinx, and then what do you think it's going to be paired with?
I don't know. JT Ripper in particular does not play a lot of the meta champs that I expect them to. So I would say something that's trying to jump in on you, like Tristana, would you'd normally want a tanky support, but he usually plays as mages like Swain and Brand and stuff.
Okay, and we
So
do see the Silas coming out on the side of OTS. I know Zealot. I believe I saw him play a few games of Silas. I don't know how comfortable he is on it or how much success he had, but that could be flex mid as well. With the Mordekaiser coming out for Foja.
yeah, I'm sure that after Zuko's performance last week, he was very enticed by the Silas and
Yeah.
picked it up. And I think that honestly, this is probably exactly what Complex was looking for. Maybe not the Jinx right away, but definitely the Silas.
Yeah, so La Espada looking to round out their top three. Curious to see if they pick mid and anticipate. Oh, okay. So the support, or
That's
rather, we
okay.
yeah we saw a lot of. If you look at Moo Moo Milk's match history,
Yeah.
it's a lot of Malachi. So I'm not
Personally,
too surprised there.
I'm not a fan of it. I do not think this champ is as strong as this priority. I think that On the Spot would have been happy giving it over, and you could have maybe put it into the second rotation. I would have rather seen, well, unless this is a jungle Mordekaiser, which is definitely possible, I would have rather seen a jungle pickup here. But I do think that it's possible as Mord can flex, and they're looking to possibly flex it if needed. I know that Foja is a Mord player in the top lane, but I'm assuming that it's possible Kip can play it as well.
Yeah, we did see a few games played on it by Carnage too. So the Olaf pick coming through on the side of OTS, followed by the two bans that we are going to be seeing here. So if you're OTS, who do you think you're going to be throwing bans at?
I would say I would probably throw more bans at Kip here.
Yeah.
Either Kip or Carnage in the mid lane, trying to focus this Mordekaiser, into top lane or into the jungle role and forcing them to have another pick top lane. That's what they do. That is the Urgot that Kip likes to play.
The shotgun knees with a Rumble ban coming through for the side of La Espada. Rumble at the moment is just super strong, in my opinion. Just the
Yeah.
damage, the wave
That's-
clear, it's crazy.
That's interesting because honestly, I don't think of Nick as a Rumble player. Usually, I see him on like control mages or wave clear mages, like the Vel'Koz. Not really much of Rumble, but I guess they are scared of it. Maybe they have some matchup that Rumble's good into that they don't want to show.
Yeah, maybe they have some inside information that we don't know.
Well, I'd assume. I'd assume they
Yeah.
have at least something.
Hopefully something to just throw a ban at it, but the other ban coming through for OTS as we wind down here. Galio coming through.
Okay. That's okay. And the Orianna, interesting. So I'm kind of expecting a Victor here out of on the spot. Maybe last pick. I do know that Nick is favors that champion. I have seen him pull it out before. And it does give them. The only problem with it is it breaks down the Sylas flex, but I don't think Nikolai plays Sylas, so I don't think you have to worry about that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I could see him picking up just
You could either go support here
something safe.
or a Victor or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm
correct.
assuming we see a support. Yep.
The Swain. Okay. Imagining that's coming through for JT Ripper, the avid Swain player. How is that matchup, Tristana Malachi into Jinx Swain?
It's so my opinion on Swain in general. He is a bot lane like defining character. If you don't get hit by his E's and you punish him when it's down, you can get ahead really easily in the bot lane. But if you let him poke you with those E's, you get hit by them, and then you let him get to level 6, it can be very difficult to actually snowball lane properly into him. I don't like Maokai so much into him, but with Tristana, it's fine if they can get on him early, like level 2.
And Sejuani coming through for Kip.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would have to agree there. Sejuani, I played her the other day, and her clear just felt so slow for whatever reason. We do see picks up like Hecarim, a lot of other things, but they opt to go in with the Sejuani here.
So far, and the Viego. That is going to be most likely.
Wait, is it Sejuani mid lane?
No.
Oh.
It's always Sejuani jungle. But the thing is, they do have the chance to swap this Viego and Mord wherever they want.
Yeah, that is true.
However, I do think something like a Victor here favors OTS regardless of the lane he's in. I can see a world where Viego dumpsters Sylas. I think I have seen Carnage's Viego. It is pretty good.
Okay.
So this is going to be really interesting. Having 4 melees, they do have the Sejuani, which the melees are good with. And there's the Victor. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, as the comps round out, what are you thinking?
To me, this looks like On the Spot has a very, very, very bursty team. They need to go in on the cooldown of Olaf's ult. They need to hit Sylas chains. They need to get Victor's E and ult damage off. But the problem is they have 3 frontline tanks that they're going to put a lot of that into, and Tristana's going to be able to mobilize very easily. The only downside, I think, to La Espada's comp is I'm thinking Viego has a hard time getting damage off these fights, and I think that they lack damage otherwise. So it's going to be interesting. I do think that Olaf is a better early game jungler by far than Sejuani. So if things go as I'm expecting, especially compared to the last OTS games, I think it's possible we're in for an OTS stomp on Ellie. But of course, I'm rooting for a good game. I just think that that's something we could look into.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing will just be Sejuani versus Olaf. Amphipod, his last two games, he's done really good on
Yeah.
the Udyr and the Olaf against UPS. So, if you give him a little bit of a lead, he can, I mean, he's shown he can run away with it and just lead his team to victory.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said it about this guy, I think, in previous casts, and I think he's even said it about himself. He's a really good jungler, but the thing that really hurts him is he only plays meta junglers. He hasn't been punished for it yet. People just like don't want to put multiple bans into him and counterpick. Because I feel like if
Yeah.
you throw 3 bans at this guy, you take one first pick, he could be easily put on something very uncomfortable and maybe show an underperformance.
Yeah,
But other
that
than
could
that,
be
yeah,
definitely one way of going about it. Because, I mean, the bands coming out, Samira, Senna, Vel'Koz, Amphipod got a comfortable champion. He's got on Swain, a comfy champion. I'm assuming La Espada had some sort of answer to, or some sort of idea as to what OTS would draft. So, with that being said, hopefully they have some sort of idea as to how they want to execute what they drafted.
yeah, I sure hope so. Especially with all these comfort picks that they're given. Like I said, I know Carnage is a really good Viego. Boja's main is a Mordekaiser. Kip climbed back into Diamond recently with Sejuani. Complex feels comfortable on Tristana. And Mumu's obviously been playing a lot of Maokai. I just worry that this is too much comfort and not enough cohesive drafting.
Yeah, it'll really boil down to the micro and just the execution on it.
Yep. On top of that, this is actually a team that Swain overperforms into.
Yeah,
If he doesn't get behind, he's going to run over a lot of these tanks in team fights.
yeah, that's 4 melee. That's going to be hefty alts. And we've seen, I don't remember what game it was, but literally, I think it was JT Ripper on a Swain, and he healed back his health like twice. It was just, the champ is disgusting. Yeah. And they're going to have to put some sort of money into healing reduction because Silas heal, Olaf, Swain. I don't know. It's like an uphill battle.
What I would like to see if La Espada can make this fights work, Mordekaiser has a lot of good ult targets. If things go well for him, he should be able to beat Silas in the 1v1, like top lane and in team fights. And I think unless Victor gets really far ahead, he always beats Victor. He never ults Olaf because of his ult. I think generally Mordekaiser is a really good pick into this team. It's just whether they can win the 4v4 after that.
Yeah.
And part of me thinks that Maokai might just not be enough oomph to get them through these fights, but we'll have to see. Like I said, it's very down to whether they can punish the Swain in the early laning phase.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. I'm curious to see how it plays out. Like I said, the biggest thing with these games that you've noticed too, we've had a lot of games dictated just by the early game itself. So if it goes one way or the other, that could just be the end all be all. Mm-hmm. OTS's comp, I believe, is a little bit easier to execute. I believe.
It's in my opinion, it's very high pressure with the Olaf. He wants to dictate the pace of the game against the Sejuani and force her into awkward situations. Like I was talking in my stream earlier though, a lot of these jungle matchups, what you want to do is you want to say, okay, where am I starting? And if for a lot of purposes, a lot of these junglers have just been starting bot side, like red buff for blue side and blue buff for red side. and just heading top. But the problem is you always have to look at who wins the 2v2 top lane. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually know who wins between Mord, Sedge, Silas, Olaf. Olaf's very strong early, but Mord and Sejuani might just have too much damage or too much tankiness for him to do anything to them.
Yeah, plus the CC coming off of Sejuani, just with the E and the Q, that can disrupt a lot of stuff, especially, going Aftershock. She will get some sort of tankiness there.
Yeah.
I would like to think they win the 2v2. But again, it definitely is pretty interesting. Do you know the Viego versus Victor matchup, how that goes?
I don't know much about it, but what I can imagine from it is that Diego's looking to poke with his Q while Victor focuses mainly on farming until he gets his E and his ult, or his E what's the word? Evolution and his ult.
Okay, yeah, the like the prototype.
Yeah, but if Sejuani can get any kind of ganks on Victor and Diego's there, Victor is having a really rough time. The only upside for Victor is he's got 2 melees who are going to be stuck in his W. I think the most interesting thing I'm going to look at too is like I said, this 2v2 bot. It really is on Tristana and Maokai to abuse the Swain, I think. And the Jinx, who other than her traps, doesn't really have protection once the Swain is down.
Yeah, it'll really be, kind of something that dictates the game heavily. And the other thing, too, is just individual skill. You can draft a certain way. You can plan on getting everything to execute flawlessly, but putting it how it should be and how everything, should fall line and the synergy is a whole nother story.
I do gotta say, part of me wishes that La Espada didn't ban Senna here, because to me, Bio and JT, like, it seems to me like Bio wouldn't be the one on Senna, it would always be JT, because I don't see JT farming.
Yeah.
So what that means is then you have a Senna support, and you're kind of put into a... Did my client
and before we get too far, I'm on 26, 27,
my client froze.
29. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, so we do see 5 coming through. Amphipod hitting an axe. Zelot going in. Tristana going down. That's first blood over to the Silas, just like that. And that is Bio burning his flash. Just showing off the power of the 5-man invade.
Alright, I'm sorry about that. I'm at like around a minute right now.
I'm at 1 minute, 101, 102.
Yeah. Okay, we're right about here.
Yeah, so first blood going over to Zelot in the top lane. And again, only some having to be burned was by Biostar with the flash.
And that goes over to Silas, which gives him the second Doran's ring. That is not something you want to see in this counter matchup if you're the Mordekaiser.
No, absolutely not. And we see, the junglers are going to be pathing away from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Kip starting his red, whereas Olaf is starting his.
Yeah, and this is really unfortunate because they didn't... I think Mumu had a sweeper, but didn't sweep his red buff, which doesn't really make sense to me. Looks like he's gonna go for a level 2 top gank. Let's see if this works out. Oh, no, he's just invading blue. Really smart out of Amphipod. Taking away this blue buff from the Sejuani, he's already going to be behind. And honestly, I really like seeing this out of, like I said, I really like seeing this out of Amphipod. He's abusing a counter matchup. The only downside is he might get one shot here if he doesn't smite this blue. Kip is way healthier than him. And if Kip runs into him, it's
it might just be dead.
I'd like to see what happens here. Olaf does smite. Kip should have the smite. Gets
He
it anyway,
gets it.
and that's perfect out of Kip.
That's what you want to see.
That's what you want to see for sure, but that is like, what are you thinking, Amphipod? I like the idea, but the
The
execution
flash
of it
coming
was
through, complex going in, flash heal being burned by Biostir.
That's beautiful, and you do see the Hex Flash coming out of Moo Moo Milk, which is great. It lets them constantly do these same engages, and they just burned all the sums out of the bot lane.
Yep,
And
and
Espada has all theirs.
complex getting chunked out a little bit.
Oh no.
He
Tristana
misses the bomb.
managing his bomb.
Yep. Carnage blowing the flash on Nikolai, and already we're seeing a lot of action here in the first three minutes of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, On the Spot is known to be a very explosive bot or team, and you know, I like seeing this out of La Espada, fighting them for it and taking them, you know, toe to toe.
Yeah, we do have the level 2 Olaf to the level 4 Sejuani at the moment. Double the CS. Carnage flashes in, misses the W. Kip gets stunned under turret, has to smite out. And that is a little bit of a misplay.
Yeah, I mean, they went for it. I'm glad they went for it, but the W missed, and like I said, that was the saving grace from the Victors, having his W on those 2 melees to not let you know, them actually tower dive him and get away with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it could have ended a lot worse, to be honest. If Kip dies and you end up giving Victor the double buffs, that would have been a little scary. But we see Amphipod wrapping around here. No vision. He's going to be coming across. Carnage doesn't have flash anymore.
Amphipod never gets this, though. He does get some pressure on the map, but it doesn't really matter.
Gets out with the hard path.
It is slightly frustrating to be in Foja's position. Having a counter matchup, but also having to be scared because you did push in the wave, and not being able to constantly fight the low-level Silas like you'd want.
Yeah, absolutely. All things considered, the game, like the state of the game has been relatively even. We saw a lot of action early, but you know, it's kind of slowed down from there.
Okay,
We do
sweeping
see
is really good.
Sejuani on the Drake too.
Yeah,
Looking to stack him early.
it's exactly the opposite of what you want to see out of Amphipod, him getting behind on a high-tempo jungler.
Amphipod coming in for the gank again. Hard path away. And I mean, that's huge, you know.
This should be a kill here.
Yeah, fight breaks out in the bot lane. JT Ripper getting low, heal coming out. Complex getting the kill. Flashes away, but this might be a double over to Bio.
Yep, this should be a
Not
jinx.
what you want to see. Malachi passive coming through with the ignite. Does he get this?
Hog, Moo.
That's
Let's
huge,
go.
actually. He does have to push this wave in, though. It is a lot of minions that. Hopefully he can crash into the turret. They know where Olaf is, too, getting spotted out as he's taking the top scuttle.
The obvious downside to that bot fight was Complex used all his sums and didn't get a kill out of it.
Yep.
I wonder if Diego wins this. No, I don't think so. He doesn't have his ult.
Yeah.
Amphipod being a good jungler and pushing his wave for him, so it doesn't get frozen.
Zilak coming in top. Foja taking a lot of damage. And he's dead. Kill going over to Zilak in the top lane. We do see a bit of a deficit up there, too. Just 2 kills and 9 CS ahead.
Yeah. And like I said, that going in, getting that first blood onto Zealot is so unfortunate for Foja. He did have the counter matchup.
Yep.
And things are just going to get even more scary for him. He did pick up the CDR boots, which is going to let him take those trades much more often than Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and Victor sealing away all the little raptors. You do not like to see that. As well as getting vision on Kip. Said yoink.
Yep. Yeah, and I believe that does help Victor out exponentially as well. Because how his passive works is every CS he gets gives him 1 point towards that 100 mark for his inventions, which lets him evolve his abilities. So he does get, you know, like 6, I think, from that. Let's see if Mordekaiser wins this.
A lot of heal coming through. And having a flash, Fosha goes back in.
Yeah, I mean, Zealot tried to be tricky, but he was dead.
Yeah, and a lot. I love to see this actually getting the early Oblivion Orb.
Absolutely. Cutting so much damage from what I'm assuming is a W Max Silas. Let me look.
Yeah, that healing reduction is huge. Moo Moo Milk might be caught out here. Amphipod catches him. Trying to get some vision. He's going to get tied up. Root
straight into the Swain E.
Yeah, and you do not want to see that. Shutdown going over to Olaf.
Holy moly. That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
He lives if he doesn't get hit by that Swainy, I think.
Yeah, he should be out.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Really good for Amphipod to be there and you know, catch him out while he's trying to ward.
Yeah, just a heads up play.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like another scuttle will be going over to Amphipod. So we do have a level 7 Olaf to the level 6 Sejuani, which we kind of expected. It is partly a counter matchup.
Yeah. In my opinion, this is just not the way that this this matchup wanted to go for La Espada. I mean, they wanted to engage on the Swain, get the kills on him early, snowball the lead, and instead they got kills over to Maokai, who just dropped a bounty over to Olaf, brought him back into the game, and they got shoved in, got their turret or got their plates taken, and things are just not looking good for them.
Yeah, and we do see Sejuani and Olaf maybe meeting here. Amphipod hitting the axe.
We do know Olaf doesn't have R.
Yeah. Gonna have to get out of there, though. With that Iron Spike whip.
Yep. I believe if Foja wards there and presses R, that's a kill for him.
Yeah, and despite everything that's happened, actually a CS lead for Carnage in the mid lane.
Yep. Small CS lead, but it is what it is. Like I said, he is a very good Viego player.
Yeah, Amphipod will be getting this Herald on the top side. I'm curious to see how quickly Kip tries to rotate for the Ocean Drake, being in all that they got, you know, Cloud Drake almost off spawn, a minute after spawn.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard with Carnage not being able to push in this Victor like he wants to, and you know, Biostar and JT actually having the priority over bot lane. I kind of doubt that they're gonna be able to get it here.
Yeah, if you don't have like immediate mid prio and your bot doesn't have prio, it's best to not do it. So I respect the call. JT Ripper going to drop a ward on it too, just in case.
Yep. I am kind of curious what Mordekaiser's boots are going to be this game. If he's going to go like, you know, Magic Pen. I don't
yeah, and we see Sejuani on this, but it could be disaster because Amphipod is going to be over here. And never mind. They had vision of it.
Oh, you don't try that without a pink ward and without your control to pick it up, and he had neither. Kept getting absolutely destroyed for something he should know better than to do.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that you don't want to see that by all means.
Not only did he die, but he also just made it easier for the enemy team to come and grab it since he's off the map now.
Yeah. Jinx completing her Kraken Slayer.
Yeah.
What would be your saving grace here out of La Espada? And that's going to be Rift Herald summon mid. They're not going to tear it down, but they will get a lot of plates.
Yeah. My saving grace is the solo lanes. Hoping that they can make something happen in the 1v1, or, you know, maybe a roam out of Moo Milk that catches someone off guard. Like, I think it'd be really smart for him to just sack bot here, walk top, and dive top, since they know there's no wards. You know, Zealot hasn't backed in quite a while.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to make something happen because the map is slowly starting to go over to the side of OTS.
Yeah, for sure.
And we see Nikolai with his upgraded death ray. So now he's just one-shotting the waves, and should never have mid pry over Victor.
Yep.
So it just makes him that much easier to influence the map. Ping's coming out on the side of Carnage, and a double kill over to the Sejuani.
Yep. Let's see if Mordekaiser gets this kill on Salas. It should be pretty free, but I don't think the Olaf is gonna be doable. Maybe he proves us wrong.
No.
Carnage committing his ultimate there to chunk Nikolai out of mid lane. And there were some missteps out of Complex there in that bot lane that was kind of unfortunate. But obviously fortunate for on the spot. Yeah, they died, but both the kills went over to Sejuani instead of the Tristana, and Tristana's just getting more and more behind here.
Yeah, definitely something that you don't want to see. My camera actually went up into mid lane as that whole fight broke. So I saw the back end of it, but regardless, you know, Tristana just wants to eat. That's it. She can't be the carry that you need if she can't get the resources. And that wave clear coming out of Victor is now, I mean, he endured the hardest part. Now he can just AFK wave clear.
Yeah. There
might be a fight over the scuttle. Amphipod just stepping up and smiting it.
Yep.
Knowing they can't really fight this. Carnage getting the stun.
Yep.
Goes in. And they might just turn this around. Amphipod lands an axe. He does have his ult. But the Jinx Rocket flashes in with the Ragnarok coming through.
Wow.
And that's
Amphipod
crazy.
is a monster. And
yeah, it's
Bio
huge.
hitting all those clutch rockets.
Yeah, bio scripting confirmed. But again, just good coordination coming out through the side of OTS.
Yeah.
What turned on an engage into Nikolai, just the counter gank with Amphipod.
Yep.
You know.
And in the bot lane having Prio with the long range of the Jinx rocket.
Yeah.
This game is slowly looking harder and harder for La Espada, and on the spot is in a demanding lead.
Yeah, roughly a 3.5k gold lead at 16 minutes. And we've seen La Espada come back from behind before, but again, this is a battle of the 2-0 teams. Someone's going to walk away with a defeat.
Yeah.
OTS is playing really clean.
Yeah, for the most part, they're looking pretty good. Other than, the questionable death by Amphipod early.
Yeah, the level 2 invade.
Yeah. I would say, Nikolai's doing his part pretty well. Bio's doing his part pretty well. JT's been doing fine. Zealot's been back and forth in the top lane, which is unfortunate considering his lead at the beginning, but it is a counter matchup, so
yeah,
can't be too hard on him.
We see a lot of pings coming out on the bot side. With Drake spawning, we should see a fight here, but at the same time, OTS should not, or La Espada should not look to fight this. In my opinion, I feel like they lose the straight 4v4, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe Viego can pop off this game or this fight, but it is really difficult to fight into a Victor and a Swain.
Yeah, we see them coming in on the flank. Red team secures the kill. Mumu flashing in.
Really good start to the fight.
Yeah, J2Ripper turning it around with Foja coming in. This could be a turn of the fight. Zealot stealing the ult from Sejuani, goes in. That's going to be Carnage flashing out, getting away with the hard path. Coming in, Sejuani turning it around. Nikolai gets caught up but kites out. Kip's going to go down over to Zealot.
And that's
And
a 2
there
for 2
you-
for Dragon.
Yeah, so 2 for 2 in Dragon, and they're going to get bot tower off that. OTS coming out clean in that team fight. Tristana did get the bounty from Olaf, but 18 minutes into the game, I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make.
Yeah, I was totally expecting once that Viego got that Olaf, you know, his passive off and took over the Olaf's body, that he was going to be able to pop off on that fight, but that's not what we saw happen.
Yeah. Unironically, I've been playing a lot of Viego, and it's easier said than done.
Yeah, he is a difficult champ once you start, you know, ulting different people and taking over all their abilities.
But that was probably one of the team fights that really they needed to come out clean. And even still, in terms of gold and objectives, they lost it. So their lead just, you know, slowly growing on the side of OTS. Harold going over to J3Ripper.
He gladly swooped that up.
Yeah. Everyone walked away. He's like, it's fine. I'll take it.
Fucking supports, man. They think they're so entitled.
Yeah.
He
Whether
says, I supported you this whole game. It's time for you to support me.
yeah, whether it's last hitting the ward and stealing the gold, or you know, sucking that
Taking
XP.
turret plates or
Literally
taking
everything.
Rift Herald, taking kills.
Sejuani pathing towards top. They have vision of it, so they're pinging. That's Bowster and J3Ripper rotating up. La Espada is sniffing it out. We have Carnage in the bot lane, but we have 4 top. They know something's coming.
I mean,
J3Ripper.
This is a good call. They're using the Rift to take that last top turret.
Yep.
And I wonder
Open that up.
if La Espada can defend at all, or if they're even gonna try. They should just give it over, I'd assume.
Yeah, and
Victor should have been caught out.
he might be caught out here.
No.
Is he dead? That's Carnage getting the kill. Kip going in.
Trist
Ragnarok
actually
coming
getting one
through.
off.
That's Amphipod going down with Zealot trapped in the Shadow Realm. Says hello to the whole team of La Espada. And just like
And
that,
is-
that's huge. That's going to be Baron.
Wow, that is
And
a
that's what you
big
needed.
overstep out of on the spot.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you know, I could see a world where Bio steals this with his ult. It's kind of sad, but if it happens, I mean,
Yeah.
it could happen.
The Jinx Rocket, the other day crit the Baron for 1600
Here it comes.
HP.
There it is.
Oh,
You just
no.
can't do that. You just
Yeah.
can't do that. That is like the second or third time
And-
we've seen.
And going in
Baron
on this, I feel like it's a mistake. But J3Ripper ignited. That's the kill going over to Foja. Bowser has to get out. He is the only one with Baron left. If they don't
Like it?
kill, yeah.
Like I said, that is the second or third time that La Espada has like either given over a Baron for free or almost got it taken from them. And like, I know they've talked about it in the past. I know they've talked about it. Why is this being stolen? Well, it's 3k health, they have a Jinx, and you're still doing damage to it. Wait out the Jinx rocket, you know they don't have vision. Just sit there, the Jinx rocket comes through, and then you secure it. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I don't
it-
understand the thought process there.
it literally hit roughly 1400 HP, and then it was gone.
Yep.
But we see another gathering, little small party. Well, Mumu going in on Zealot. Zealot should be getting out, but that's going to be him caught up. They're committing a lot of resources for Zealot. That's Zealot dead. Only Carnage getting the kill.
Sejuani
Kip
overstepped.
maybe a little bit too deep, and they're turning that around. That's the Jinx passive on Bioster, and Mumu Milk having to ult away just to peel.
Mord getting a catch here. Doesn't get the ult onto Jinx.
And that's huge. Complex with the killing spree. Goes in. They peel back. This is gonna. They should just take Mountain Drake here. We do have Carnage stealing the Olaf.
And that's Dragon. It's actually, it's so impressive how back and forth this game is. It's so impressive.
Jinx, can she make it 2 for 2? They know to body block at this time. And that's going to be the Drake going over to La Espada. 2 for 2 on Drake's. Still a 4K gold difference, roughly. 3.5. But I'm impressed. I mean, Foja, they're playing these team fights really well.
Yeah, they're catching the people that need to be caught. They're Mord ulting targets. They're getting on them. And they're saying, hey, you know, you scale, but we don't want you to even be in this game. We're going to keep fighting.
Yeah, play for picks. And the big thing is, imagine if they didn't give over that Baron.
Yeah, exactly.
Regardless, it happened. You know, unironically, we were talking about the Jinx stealing it with the Rocket because it literally happened to me 2 days ago. So
yeah, I mean, people think it's like a 1 in a million thing, but the way that the Rocket logic is it calculates the percentage missing health on the Baron, not the person it hits, which is why it's so consistent. As long as you get it long range enough to where it charges up, if that Baron's at 1500 health, it's always going to Jinx. Which is why, like, you have to wait it out. You have to play the vision control, or else it's never a 50-50 at best. It's always Jinx getting it.
Yeah, and we do see Complex actually getting some kills, so it's nice to see some gold go over to, you know, the Tristana. There is a deficit in the CS. He's roughly 30 CS down. He did build PD second. I don't know. Is that the standard itemization?
That's pretty standard, yeah. That's pretty standard here.
So we see him just doing the dance back and forth, moving as a unit. Zealot up in top. That's going to be a scuttle going over to Kip. We do have still the 2-level difference between Kip and Amphipod, but across the board, you have an advantage up in top lane. Mid lane is still down by a little bit. And yeah, that's it. So I think as long as they can, again, do what they've been consistently doing and just blow someone up when they go on them, La Espada should be able to, you know, win out on these fights. The only issue would be if Jinx gets a kill and just manages to kill your whole team with her passive.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna say something that like might be a little controversial. I don't think it is. But Victor's itemization is kind of weird to me.
Lumen was getting caught out. Hold up.
Wait, Maokai's alive? Oh.
Yeah, and that's just a dead tree. They
just
chopped some wood. That's it. Plain and simple.
That kill most likely shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna be able to get anything from it. Sorry, what was I gonna say? Oh, one thing that I do think is weird. Something about Lich Bane is kind of weird. I personally, since he's been getting caught out multiple times, would have rather seen a Banshee's Veil out of him, since there's the Mort ult, there's the Sejuani ult, there's the Viego W, the Viego ult. There's a lot of things that are catching him right now that I think could be prevented with that. However, he does go for the damage, and I'm not sure if it's the right play. I think he scales regardless, but who knows? Maybe he'll find some one-shots and he'll prove me wrong. Another thing is Biostar's itemization is it's okay. The thing is you gotta think about how many targets you're attacking with this Runeans. And a lot of the times, in my opinion, he's just attacking one. And usually that person has a shitload of armor, right? So like, I would have rather seen a PD or a Lord Dominic's Regard here, but the Runeans is, I guess, for wave clear, which he doesn't.
I'm gonna stop you there really quick. Sure, we do have the Baron dance coming out. Nikolai is down on a scuttle. if they see him split bot lane, they might just try to force us with Sejuani ult, which is what realistically he does have TP, so he can kind of split freely. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that happen here. Someone's gonna have to match him too, but he is backing. He's backing with Drake coming up.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, maybe he's got a big item spike. It's just anti-heal though. I would have liked to see him keep pressuring that turret.
He is TPing in here. The flash coming out of Moo Milk goes in with the ult. That's Bio going down to Foja. That's huge. That's a lot of damage coming out of the Mordekaiser. That's a double kill with a kill going over to the Victor. JT Ripper goes down.
And we're just seeing this monster that is Foja's Mordekaiser.
Yeah,
I mean,
they got to be careful chasing here. That was a 3-for-1.
We're also seeing how nice it is to have something like this Justana that when something gets on him, he can just jump out and know that his team's beefy and can skirmish without him.
Yeah. Going on to Bio and blowing him up immediately is what they have to do. And realistically, every fight, I would say Jinx is probably the biggest target that you want to blow up.
Yeah, I would say that it's definitely questionable that Jinx got caught there. I would like to say that La Espada is doing a great job decision making, shot calling as quickly as possible, and getting the right target. It's very impressive seeing them all get on the same target, knowing when they get a catch, knowing when they can win a fight, and doing it back to back to back. It's very impressive. Yeah,
Kip having to be careful here, taking his recall. Do not want to get caught out with the Baron up. And again, that was a great fight. You couldn't have asked for anything better on of the side of La Espada. Yep. There's about 3 people standing in the Mord passive. And now it just starts a Baron dance. My one question would be, though, the difference of them going, do you think they're too low to go and take Baron instead of the Drake at that fight? I probably with Victor and
yeah, I think Victor has some poke, and it's just kind of
don't risk it if you don't have to.
Yeah, but the problem is I don't think they might have had the damage to get it before Bio comes back up, but you always have that risk of, is Jinx on the map? Does she have ult? And yes, she had ult.
La Espada has Prow to the Baron right now. They're gonna be working to set up vision. Really, they are now pushing the pace on what happens. You know, Moo Milk flashing in onto Bio last fight.
I do gotta say too, I gotta question Zealot's itemization with this Everfrost as well. It's by far his most used item, especially in the mid lane. However, you're into 3 tanks here. Why not just go Liange's? I think that on top of that, once you see the Oblivion Orb straight on Mordekaiser early on, you shouldn't keep maxing your W early on in that lane. It just
Kip having to be careful. A little bit of that Maokai damage coming through with the E.
So, like, I know we have seen, you know, this Sylas pick sort of rampage some of the games in the league, and I am glad to see it finally getting some kind of counter.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we just wait on what starts off the fight here. Maybe Sejuani, a pause comes through. Kip is lagging, so we see a lag pause coming through. Hopefully Kip can kind of get his stuff together.
Okay. I'm gonna do something very unfortunate to everyone. I'm sorry. I actually have to pee really, really, really badly. So I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
You're good. Chat, everyone. This is such a good game because honestly, if I didn't even see it, but La Espada is actually up by 5 kills. They're down by 1.9 gold. They're up 5 kills. They're on soul point. We do see a Baron dance coming through. The lead that Biostar once had. Complex has kind of tied it up. He does have the bounty on him in just the top jungle on the side of La Espada is huge right now, which is good. I mean, this is what you needed. Even though they're down by 1.9k gold, they do have 5 kills. So they're slowly clawing their way back into this game. And to be honest, at this point, I think it's anyone's game to win. Whatever the gold says, if they execute what they want to do, hey.
I always washed hands.
Yeah, of course.
What did I miss?
I just realized that La Espada is actually up by 5 kills.
Yep. Yeah,
that's what I was saying too. And the difference is coming over on the side of
just a lot of the CS differences, the small CS differences, is given the gold age. What am I saying? Edge.
yeah, Edge. I like that actually.
Actually, you didn't hear it, but it was a silent L there. I said liege.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My liege.
My liege.
Fun. It's okay.
I always like looking at Viego builds.
Yeah.
I personally suck so bad at that champion. I would never play it.
He's fun.
Yeah.
It's
end here too, which is, I think, pretty good.
Yeah.
I know it just got a buff too, or did it get a buff yet? I'm not sure.
I don't think it did yet. I know I think I saw some stuff on it in the patch notes. But the other thing too is the side of La Espada, if they do blow someone up like the Victor, he could jump into Victor's body and throw down the W, that CC, and activate his ult, which is nice.
Yeah.
That is just kind of the another benefit to Viego overall.
Yeah. If I was La Espada here, I'd look to actually fight this as quickly as possible. And the reason for that being is JT is actually a lot of the damage in their fights. And if you look at his build, it's 32 minutes in the game and he doesn't have his Leandries finished. He's actually behind in well, same level as Moo Moo Milk, but generally behind in XP. And doesn't have his Leandries finished, which is going to be huge damage onto these tanks. So I would punish that as quickly as possible if I was
yeah. What do you do? Isn't it alt space to see how much gold they're sitting on? I didn't want to like.
It's
is
X.
it X?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't want to like hit something and then all of a sudden my computer crashes. I'm like, oh.
So he's sitting on 1.1k, so he's 100 gold away. I believe that's right.
Yeah, roughly. I mean, realistically, the only one that hasn't bought is Mordekaiser. Whereas Olaf kept getting caught out a little bit, having to get out of there.
And I also sort of disagree yet again with Nikolai's item purchase. I think that the Morello's finish doesn't really do what they were hoping for it to. He is going to be lacking this damage into this massive front line, and I would have liked to see the Banshee's Veil probably into a Void Staff if I were him, because I really think, if you can melt down this front line that they have, La Espada gets a lot weaker.
Yeah. And we do see Mordekaiser going down bot to answer the wave that was pushing. You need to push that out. Just so you don't have that pressure where if they do get Baron, they can just TP there and end, or it just continues to push down lane. We do see pings coming across with a TP coming through from Mordekaiser. They're going to start this. It is going to be kind of sniffed out on the side of OTS. They know it's going, but that's a lot of damage coming through.
Yeah, they know the Swain's backing from base. They just need to hope it doesn't get stolen, which it doesn't.
They get the Drake. As long as they get out of there, that's a win. We have Foja playing bodyguard. Huge pull coming through. The ult coming through onto Nikolai. That's going to be a shutdown onto him. That's a double kill with the ult coming through for Kip. Beautiful ult. Carnage into the backline on Amphipod. Amphipod heals a lot. Complex is going to take down JT Ripper, pops lasagnas, and that's it. That's an ace going over to the side of La Espada. And we see a pick.
Crap! What was on the spot thinking? They just had their entire front line sitting next to their back line being the Jinx and Victor. They see a Mordekaiser on them, and they walk right past them. The Jinx is sitting with a Mordekaiser on top of her, and she just gets shredded. Like, what?
Yeah.
That is your damage, baby. That is your damage.
Questionable, positioning coming out. And a lot of this gold, that was a 4K flip. They were down by 1.9. Now they're up by 4K, and they're going to be getting soul.
That's Baron. That's soul. This looks really bad for on the spot. They look like they were doing it. Yep. They looked like they were doing it. Oh my god, is Bio going to steal it? Oh, thank god. That would have been sad.
And that was huge. Absolutely disgusting team fight coming out on the side of La Espada.
Yeah.
What was once, a 4K gold difference? They kept their composure and then they clawed their way back into this.
Yeah, honestly, I am very, very impressed with Foja's performance. Like I said, I do think it was wrong that they just let him be all on top of Jinx like that. Yeah, he was in the Mord R, but you just gotta wait it out. Like, you know that Nick's about to die to it. He's gonna come out of the Mord R, and you gotta protect that Jinx.
I don't even know if they could have done that much, to be honest with you. Jinx ate 1Q and a little bit of his passive and just blew up.
Yep.
So I mean, even if they're there, yeah, that's a big boy.
That's a really big boy.
That's not my problem. That's yours.
So that's kind of my problem too with the Sylas Olaf in this composition is, yes, early mid you do damage, but with this Everfrost build and this kind of utility Sylas coming out, he does not provide the damage that he needs if his backline's gonna die. So you're just into a Mordekaiser who's free reign on your entire team. Yeah,
and now we see the 1-4 split coming up with Foja pushing the top into Zealot. Kip alting for Bioster. No follow-up to come through. And they're just going to slowly siege it. They tell him to get back off the turret while we kindly take this.
And that's the first time we've seen this game, I think, that, they haven't really been on the same page as far as the Kip ult goes.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal.
It could have been just... It was like a desk pop, It was like, you don't step up or else.
Yeah.
Realistically, they pushed Bio off of clearing the wave, and they were able to get the turret for it. So...
And
but that's huge.
Now, Bio is forced into the situation where he's building Last Whisper so late into the game. Like, there's already a huge swing, and on top of that, he built the Null Magic Mantle to hopefully get a QSS at some point.
Yeah, and
it's rough.
The purchase is coming through. We have Nasher's Tooth going over to Mordekaiser, Dead Man's Plate on Maokai, Abyssal Mask for the Sejuani, Tristana getting her Bloodthirster, and we have Sylas going with Cosmic Drive. Questionable about the Cosmic Drive, I would like to think, but on the side of La Espada, they're huge.
Yeah. The thing is, when you're in this build with Sylas, generally you're the mid laner. Generally, you want to be ahead. Generally, you don't have to fight 3 massive tanks with a Mordekaiser that can 1v9. This is usually a fine build. But here, like I said, I would love to see the Leandries, would love to see some kind of Void Staff or something. But instead, they're forced to do this meta build that does not fit what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see La Espada going in, just laying down a little bit of vision. Spam pinging to the top. Everyone's coming up there. While Foja continues to push the mid lane. And I think at this point, they can't continue to siege. There's decent wave clear on the side of OTS. Is this where they just work to establish vision in the jungle and then play around Baron, play around a pick?
Absolutely. I think that they never lose a fight. They just need to assert dominance, keep up the vision in the jungle, make sure that they can't ever fight this Baron, and keep waves pushed. Meanwhile, Mordekaiser's doing what he needs to do, just being in a side lane and pushing in these waves. Making sure the wave state's always there. And on the spot's in a really tricky situation. They're gonna have a really hard time finding the win out of this, and I think that the only way they can do it is if La Espada lets Nikolai get to this Rabadon's, even maybe Rabadon's plus
Fight
staff
breaking out, and they might just disengage. We saw Nikolai slowly rotate up through the jungle. I think they sniffed it out on some vision. That's going to be the Zealot out down, but it's already coming back up, to be honest. Sejuani with the re-engage, ulting Kip, kind of questionable. JT Ripper getting a lot of damage up. Popping Zony's had a good time. That's an issue. Biostar getting the passive off with the heal. Zealot turning it around. Moo Milk going in. Gets blown up by Amphipod. That is not what you wanted.
Disaster.
Yeah. Kip
obviously
ulted the wrong person.
That well. But Kip ulted the wrong person. Carnage inted straight into Jinx, giving her the excitement and letting her just pop off. Whereas Mord doesn't even TP to the team fight, and he's like their biggest person. Very questionable.
That was an iffy. That was a lot of shutdown gold.
Yeah, remember how just a minute ago I said OTS is in a tricky spot? They're just now not in a tricky spot because La Espada threw it to them.
Yeah. That, out of all times.
Yeah. Why then? Why then? You have all your objectives you just waited 5 minutes for coming up, and you fight then.
We see Kip over here. He's probably going to get zoned off. And that's Soul going over to OTS.
Yep. And now La Espada's on the back foot, and they have to hold for the next 3 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever. Yeah, that 4K gold difference that they just, flipped on their head. Again, it just flipped right back. OTS in the driver's seat. Yep. And we see Nikolai finishing his Rabadons, and I don't know what he's building next, but this should definitely be a void staff, and it is not.
Yeah, and we were talking about it. It just takes one good, misposition, not going on Jinx, getting Jinx locked up, blowing up Jinx.
Yeah. And
you lose a team fight. And the big thing too is Mord not being there.
Yep. And now Jinx has everything she needs to carry this game. She just has to do it.
That was a nice time. Zanya's coming out of JT Ripper.
Very nice. Yep. He was at like 50 health, I think, when he pressed.
Yeah, he baited that pretty hard. The ult coming through from Moo Milk, trying to zone him off. You can't really fight this. They don't have that much for wave clear too. They just have Tristana. Ult coming through for Zealot. This will be a slow siege.
Yeah, I don't really like wasting the ult like that, but if you look at the ult timer on Zealot, his ult's up in 5 seconds. So
yeah, literally, that's the same thing that happened last fight.
Yeah.
It was, he took the Sejuani ult, and then I don't know if he ulted someone else. Maokai ult coming through for Zealot as well. Zoning him off, this could be huge if they aren't able to get out.
Yeah, I think on the spot should look to try to end here. Should look for this fight and force them into something.
JT Ripper popping his ult. They got to kite this out. Huge pull coming in from Foja. Zealot goes in deep. That's going to be a shutdown onto the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser gets blown up by Jinx. Jinx comes across. That's the JT Ripper getting the kill onto Sejuani with the Elder buff. They're going to be ending here, and that's going to be going over to the side of OTS. Nikolai getting the kill onto both Carnage and Complex, with Biostar getting the kill onto Moo Milk.
Wow.
What a great game.
That shit was insane. I mean,
one misplay.
One misplay, yep.
That's all it took. I'm curious to see the damage graphs, actually.
We're ready.
Yeah.
We have the man, the myth, the legend, the Silas player himself, the
Yeah,
Darius
what up?
main, the
What up,
Garen player.
Zero?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Yo,
How you
good
feeling
game.
after that one? That was quite a banger.
Whew. Dude, after how that game went, all I have to say is like La Espada, I I don't know that we're gonna face a better team this season. They played so well. Major props to them. Just super proud of my team for pulling out the upset because we were down at one point, but we pulled it together, and I'm super psyched about it.
Absolutely. That was quite the banger. It looked like, at the beginning it was somewhat in your hands. And then things just started rolling. La Espada took team fight after team fight, just catching people out, and they looked dominating, but then they just threw that in the top lane with a very interesting engage out of Kip, and in my opinion, they should have ended. Like, that should have been their game, but you took that advantage that they gave you, and you ended like you needed to. It was really well played.
Yeah, you guys
Thank you.
capitalized on their. It took one team fight for La Espada to get the lead, and then it took one team fight to, you guys run away with the game from there, getting both Baron and then Elder. Was there anything, draft wise that you guys wanted to prepare for? I know Amphipod died level 2 going in on that. But kind of walk us through the game.
So as far as draft goes, as far as like, was there anything we were looking for in draft? Basically, we prepared for 3 different possibilities. We looked at their previous drafts and we said, okay, if they take the Silas first, this is how we're going to draft. If they take the Tristana first, this is how we're going to draft. If they take Maokai, this is how we're going to draft. And I'm really happy to say that our draft prep definitely paid off. Although I really underestimated their top laner. Mordekaiser is a lot better into Silas than I thought. And so that really changed the game around in their favor. But I'm really happy that we managed to pull out the win.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was talking about earlier in the day, you did pick the Silas, and he's kind of been rampaging at least some of the games. And I was very happy to see a team confident with a counter pick into it and it actually working. I see so many people in this league like first picking Ornn into people who play Silas and then just getting ripped apart. But I'm really glad to see it getting punished for once. Obviously, it didn't work out in the end, but I was questioning, both drafts like a little bit. Like, I liked both drafts, but they both needed to have something like in particular happen. And in my opinion, it made it really hard when Amphipod died level 2. It threw a lot of his tempo out of the game. And I mean, what were the comms when he died like that? Was it like, don't worry, we're gonna get back in this?
To be honest with you, I don't really exactly recall. But I don't think the comms really slowed down.
Okay.
It was just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, and you
guys.
guys.
There were times when that came up where, come on, guys, just keep your head in the game. We can still win this. There were a lot of those times. Like I said, La Espada played amazing, and that was a really hard game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Biostar did pop off. One, stealing the Baron with his ult.
Absolutely, dude. Oh, that was awesome.
Damage. So it was a fun game to see. I think you guys they had more kills than you throughout the entire game, except for like the early game. But it was when it came time to close out the game, you guys did what you have to do. So that was good. Do you have any closing thoughts or anything you want to say to anyone you're going to play in the future?
Well, I mean, if the season so far has been any indication, we've used a sub every week. All of our subs have performed amazingly. Big props to Bio this week. But teams that wrote us off in week 1 and week 2, I think after seeing us go 3-0, and La Espada is obviously an extremely talented team, I think that no one has the ability to write us off anymore.
Absolutely. 3-0, leading the pack. Well, thank you so much, John, for this interview, and congrats again on your, a demanding lead in the league. And I wish you luck in the future. And I'm very, I guess, excited to play against you as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
thanks, guys, and thanks for casting.
Of course. Yep. Have a good day.
Well,
All right.
yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Great game coming out for La Espada and OTS. OTS running away with the victory with a turn of events, at that last fight. One mistake, the game was gone.
That game was an absolute roller coaster.
Yeah, but that's going to be it for us. Again, thank you for coming out. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Nick. Thank you for everyone that made this possible. Josh, I love you.
All right, I love you too, August. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
He